Hey, friends out there. This is Thursday, May 26th, 2022. And it is just about 5:40 in the morning here in Northern California. And as usual, I'll talk about a few things today. You know, I know what's on everybody's mind is what happened just the other day in Uvalde, Texas. And I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about this poor, possessed little creep. I mean, if this isn't a clear example, if it isn't the very exemplification of demon possession, then I don't know what is. You know, this poor kid, if both his parents were druggies, he didn't have much of a compass. And, you know, personally, at times like this, it makes me very glad that I'm an avowed pacifist, that I'm anti-violence. It's obviously never worked. Never. Never. It's failed each and every time through history. All of it. On a micro level like this, I mean, this is horrific. 19 children are dead so far. Some more might die that have been hit by bullets. 2 teachers so far. I mean, can you imagine? And then the kid himself. 18. He can't have a beer, but he can go out in one full swoop and purchase 2 assault rifles and all the ammo he wants. And this is just bizarro world. I mean, I think that it's only fair that everybody that's going to be owning a gun have an evaluation, even if so by their peers. Even the NRA, you could set up your own team of, and what gun owner or hopeful gun owner would ever object to that? I mean, it's a jury of their peers. Set it up. NRA could do it. Why am I the only guy that feels like I got a decent idea there? And furthermore, we could arm all these custodians, could be certified to conceal carry. There you go. I mean, they know right away. All we need is panic buttons. I mean, these should be something. I don't know why this is happening more. This is just bizarre. But, I mean, it's a sign of the times. Christ said that it's going to be like in the days of Noah, when the wickedness just keeps on growing, flourishing. And that's what I see, friends. But if it's very critical not to believe in death, basically, you got to understand these are children. These kids get a free ticket. These kids that were murdered, they got a free ticket to heaven. They don't got no splaining to do. You understand? Not at that age. So these kids are assured. These kids will be in a better world. They'll be there, all of them. And, I can't say, I mean, the kid is old enough to go to war, so I guess you could look at it like that. I mean, I remember as a child watching these teenage boys essentially being killed. They were just using them like fodder for slaughter over there, flatbed trucks heaped high with the bodies of these young men. These teenagers, I don't know what age, 16, 17, I don't know what age you can enter, but pretty young. My dad got away with joining the Merchant Marine when he was 16. That was during World War II. And he went into the Marine Corps from there. But he wasn't a violent guy. He loved Martin Luther King Jr., and so did I. He loved JFK, and so did I. This makes me think of something that has been bugging me. You know what I decided? To dig into what the secular world, the mainstream world, the worldly world, how it defines this term egalitarianism. Egalitarian. And you know what? It sickens me. But it gives me a good example to point out the hypocrisy, the deceit, the lies, and how the elitists are desperate to maintain control. And who writes history? Who have you ever heard writes the history? To the victor go the spoils, right? Who's the victor? It's always those controlling the purse strings. And they want to continue to run the show by controlling the purse strings. What they do is they turn egalitarianism, which essentially just believes in fairness. I'm just a big believer in fairness. It has nothing to do. And they politicize it, and then they'll label it. Oh, that's a Marxist, i.e., communist. If you're an egalitarian, you're a communist. So if I don't believe in money, which I learned from God, that they're going to call me, that's political. That's what they're going to say. You understand how they maintain control? By controlling the education. That's education. When people look up a term, and that's what they derive from reading the definition on Google search, they're controlling everything. You understand? Evil men, evil geniuses who spend every waking moment consumed by diabolism. Do you understand? Do you? You understand why so many just regular people are caught off guard? They just cannot wrap their minds around just how evil the men that run the world are. You don't understand. They're controlling the definition of the words because they control the purse strings. That's why. So they're going to turn a guy like me into a communist, which everybody in America hates. I'm making the sign, you make for the vampire, right? That's what they think of me. Stay away, you evil man. You commie. You anti-capitalist. I'm thinking to myself, good God, I've read Adam Smith's book. I've read The Wealth of Nations. I actually know what he wrote. I know how capitalism works. I know that supply and demand is an integral part of any form of true capitalism. And I know we've had anti-capitalism. Evil men have turned capitalism on its head. Do you understand that nowadays, the less they sell us something, the more they charge. So the less demand there is on stuff, the more you're going to have to pay. And they've gotten the general public to believe that all makes sense somehow. Everybody's cuckoo. You understand? That you don't understand the first thing about capitalism. It's the antithesis of true capitalism, what we've had in America. Since they murdered JFK, I say they. Who the hell is they? Well, all these criminologists, the detectives, the first thing they ask when a crime is committed is cui bono. That means who benefits. Well, let's see, what was he doing that was controversial? Okay, I know, he was getting rid of the Federal Reserve. Isn't that interesting? And he had already begun recirculating a new dollar, which was it was a silver note. He said, no, we don't need your services any longer. For seniorage rights, print the money, the coinage. But instead, we're going to go this direction. Okay, sorry, it's been nice knowing you, but that's what JFK was doing. And today, in 2022, we're some $30 trillion in debt? And mum's the word on the mainstream media. We're not going to discuss this. We're not going to talk how we're carrying this enormous debt. Whose backs it's really falling on and how they're doing, how they get away with this. How we pay the interest on the principal. Who's paying it? You understand, we're all forced to finance this war in Ukraine, whether you like it or not, by paying this price for gas. So every one of us is culpable. They make you a son of hell. It's like the devil with the pitchfork, forcing you to do something. He's got you by the throat. Got us all by the throat. So we're indirectly, all of us Americans, by driving our cars and burning gasoline, or even taking the bus or anything else that uses gasoline, flying, you're killing Russians. You're paying the price. They're making you pay. Even though Canada, on Cheryl Atkinson's show Full Measure on Fox, I get it here in the West Coast at 10:30 on Fox. It comes on another time of the week, I know that. I've seen it. But Canadians said, we'll give you all the oil. You're only getting 15% of your oil from Russia. I mean, if you stopped exporting a little bit of your oil domestically, America, then you would have enough. There's no need for this dramatic price increase. You understand? It's a big scam. It's all made up. It's fraud. It's a scheme. It's theft. This is the same old story. This could easily have been prevented by the Federal Labor Department looking after the interests of the federal minimum wage worker. It would have stopped any runaway inflation in its tracks. But you see how evil it is? They want this. They want you to pay these high prices. Our governor came out months ago promising $400 per registered vehicle here in California to help offset these gouge-like rates that are being charged. Everything. You notice everything's going up, like in lockstep, that economy. Everything. What doesn't matter. No demand, it doesn't matter. It's gone up 25%. Right? Just like that. Boom. You know what they've done to the value of the dollar? Do you know what a dollar used to afford you in the early 1960s when the federal minimum wage was $1 an hour? A middle class life, friends. Believe it or not. You can scoff all you want, but I lived it. I saw it. Home ownership, one person working in the family, paying all your bills, having disposable income. That's America, I remember. I thought that's what Trump was talking about, making America great again. I said, yeah, we got to have to go back to the economy we had in the early 60s when there's a semblance of social economic fairness in this country. And then we dropped the ball hard and heavy, allowing the Federal Reserve to take over this country. And having all these idiot politicians, the vast majority, Congress, Senate, it's a generalization, the executive, all of them just pay homage to us. They do, and they do. They know which side their bread is buttered on, and it's all about passing the buck and not talking about it. Radio silence, crickets. When it comes to who's really paying this, how we're carrying this debt, and who inflation hurts the most. It doesn't hurt some people at all. A lot of people benefit from it. What are you, freaking kidding me? A lot of people benefit. Do you understand? It goes in their pockets. And others make plenty of money, and their pay is tied into cost of living adjustments, a reassessment of that annually or thereabouts. They don't care. It does not hurt them. They're not paying the price. They get more to insulate them, to protect them from runaway inflation. But it's niches, and it sickens me. I'm sorry, friends, but if you're okay with the direction this country's going, have to it. And if you're afraid now to be called an egalitarian because somebody's going to associate that with communism, remember where that came from. That's a lie from the pit of hell. That's from Satan's mouth himself. When you hear that definition of egalitarianism, what it means to me is fairness. That's all. It means doing things God's way. It means putting our very selves in God's position. You got 8 billion kids. Are you going to